I've been putting this video off for years. This is a video where I'm going to finally review this Extreme Home arcade cabinet, and I'm going to go into great detail about everything that I can remember. I'm going to tell you as much as I possibly can about my opinion on everything, completely unedited, and I'm probably going to piss some people off. And I'm going to tell you everything I've changed, and I'm going to go into like the physical cabinet itself, and then also all the software and all the games and everything. So yeah, people have been asking me for this for a while, and I put it off because I don't really like talking to the camera. I like just playing games like RoboCop. I'd much rather be playing RoboCop right now. But I know I needed to do this video. So here we go. I'm going to give you some history. So I was a Sega kid. I had basically every Sega system there was. I ended up getting a Super Nintendo, but my parents divorced when I was a baby, and my dad would have me on the weekends. And once I was old enough, he would take me to play putt putt and go to batting cages and shit like that. But we almost always, every weekend went to an arcade. And that's where my love of arcade games started. Like some of my best memories of all time are going with my dad to the arcade. And also a lot of my birthday parties were at arcades. Like there are arcades nearby where you could rent out like the back room and have all your friends come over and you could just play to your heart's content with, free credits on all the games that were there. And I just love arcade games. So as a kid, I was an only child, so I was kind of spoiled. So I got to play tons of arcade games. I had all the consoles and games I wanted. So I kind of feel like consoles, I don't know, been there, done that. Consoles were attainable. I could have any fucking console I wanted, and I could play all those fucking games. The arcade games, on the other hand, I could never have an arcade game because they were way too expensive, way too big. So even today, I'm 40 now. Even today, there's something about arcade games that just I can't get over it. I'm still excited to play arcade games, and I feel like a little kid again, being at the arcade. Okay, so back then, like say this game came out in 1987. Compare this game to the console games of 1987. It was a drastic difference. So to go to the arcade, the games would be just amazing. Like in 1987, you had NES games that looked like the sprite would probably be half the size of RoboCop here, and everything looked way shittier. This just happens to be the game I'm showing right now. So yeah, I got this cabinet for arcade games. There's tons of console games on it, but I don't care about them. It's all about the arcade for me. So once I went to college in 1998, that's when I first discovered emulation. The first emulator I ever used was called Nesticle, and it was an NES emulator. I went to JMU, James Madison University. Somebody was sharing a bunch of ROMs. So there was a network where people could share their files and you could see them. So I saw a bunch of ROMs and they're titled, shit like Contra.NES or Super Mario Brothers.NES, and I was double clicking on them and they weren't doing anything. I was like, what the hell is this? How do I play these? Then I finally learned Nesticle is the program that actually runs them, and I was like, holy shit! I can play all these NES games on my computer for free. That's when it started. So then my freshman year, I was 18. Then I discovered MAME, Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator, which is what my channel's named after because MAME is by far my favorite emulator. It plays thousands and thousands of arcade games. Like I already said, arcade games are what I care about the most. So, but back then, MAME was really early, and it didn't play a ton of games. So a lot of arcade systems weren't emulated. So a lot of Capcom games and Neo Geo games and Sega games weren't emulated. So there were emulators called Callus that emulated Capcom Play System 1 games. And CPS2 games, don't even think about it yet. Then there was an emulator called Rain that emulated a bunch of games that MAME couldn't do yet. Then System 16 emulated Sega System 16 arcade games like Golden Axe. And then Neo Rage X was an emulator that came out that emulated Neo Geo games, and so I got into all that. I was following and all that stuff. But eventually all of that stuff ended up going into MAME. MAME can run all that shit now, so like I prefer to just use MAME. I'd rather use one emulator than all these different emulators that have all these different settings. Some other ones I remember, KGen was a Genesis emulator. There was ZSNES and SNES 9X for Super Nintendo, Mecha for Sega Master System because I was a Sega kid, and then like Project 64 for Nintendo 64. But that came later. That wasn't my freshman year. I think that was maybe my sophomore year, maybe. And then Magic Engine for like TurboGrafx 16 games. Anyway, so I was following that all the time. There were sites like Retro Games and Zofar's Domain and shit like that where I was following emulation news, and it was like there were breakthroughs every day. There was like, oh shit, they figured out CPS2 encryption, and now you can play Alien vs. Predator and shit like that. So that was really cool. I spent way too much time doing emulation. Like there were times in my dorm room where girls would come into my dorm room and try to talk to me, and I was busy playing games, didn't care. I was too enthralled with, emulation, but also with like shit like Half-Life and Quake and stuff like that because we were playing multiplayer all the time. Anyway, so I graduated from college in 2002, and then at some point shortly thereafter, I saw a Hot Rod. There's a Hot Rod joystick. It was like a 2-player joystick. I don't think it had a trackball. So you could hook it up to your PC, and I think it was a PS2 port, not USB. And so you could play arcade games with that. And it had a very basic keyboard encoder built into it. And I don't remember I sold it. I don't remember why. I think I didn't have a lot of space because I was just like renting a room in somebody's house at the time. Maybe that was part of it. I don't know. I probably wasn't using it much. Then, fast forward to, I don't know when, over 10 years later, I got a bunch of X arcades. So, well, first I got the X arcade tank stick, which is 2 players and a trackball in the middle. So that's an upgrade over the Hot Rod because you had a trackball. And I used that for a while. I liked that. Then I got the X arcade single player version. So that way I had 4 players. So I had, the tank stick in the center, and then to the left and the right of that, I had the single player X arcades, and I even built. I'm probably putting pictures up right now if I remember. Anyway, I built this wood kind of table to hold them all, so like it kept them there. So if people came over and we all were playing, they wouldn't be sliding around and shit. They would stay where they were. And I I put I had a TV up, and I was using, I think, a laptop at the time to emulate everything. And I remember most people have no idea about emulation. They didn't know that you could do that, so people were blown away even by that back then. But then I decided at some point I wanted to go further because like the X arcades, they can't do that much. I think there's also some encoding issues with the keyboard encoder. Like it can't handle too many inputs at once. So I think maybe I had 4 people playing at once, like maybe Ninja Turtles or something, and it might have been too many inputs for it to handle all at once. So that might have been why I decided I want to go with like a real, 4-player setup with a iPack. An iPack is like a more advanced keyboard encoder. And so I contacted North Coast Custom Arcades, and they did custom control panels. So it was basically a big ass, heavy ass control panel that I could put on top of a table. And I think I asked for like 2 spinners and then a trackball, 4-player. And if I have pictures of it, I'm showing it right now. I can't remember, but we'll see. Anyway, so I spent a lot of time just like customizing where I wanted everything laid out and all of that. So then they made it and they shipped it to me, and then like the buttons were all super stiff. I've never pressed any arcade buttons like that before. It's like the springs were like so stiff that you had to actually like push hard. And then the fucking spinners wouldn't even work. I was trying all I could to get the spinners to work. They weren't working. And I contacted the company, North Coast Custom Arcades, and they didn't help me. They just fucking blew me off. So then I was like, all right, fuck this. I'm returning this. So I returned it, and they charged me a restocking fee and all this bullshit. It pissed me off. They go by MAME. Well, I think they're still called North Coast Custom Arcades, but their website is MAMEroom.com. So based on my experience, I say fuck them. Don't go there. So then I went a few years, kind of pissed off. I didn't, want to mess with it anymore. Then I saw Dream Home Arcades. Before that, I saw somebody on YouTube that had a marquee where when he changed the game, the marquee changed, like you're seeing right now. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't know you could get something like that. So then I was like, all right, I want that. I have to have that. So I was looking at a bunch of different places, like Dream Home Arcades and some other companies, and I don't think any of them did it. So I talked to Dream Home Arcades and I asked them, like, if I get one of these marquees, can you guys install it and set it up? They're like, yeah, we'll install it, but we don't know how to make it work. So I took a big risk and I ordered this marquee from China on eBay from a company called Vitrolite. The diagonal here is 37.5 inches. I think it's considered a 1/2 or 2/1 ratio. So maybe if you double the height, maybe that's the width, maybe that's what it is. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, a lot of people have marquees that are like they're shorter, but I like the size of this marquee because I've seen like shorter ones and I feel like it stretches the image, left and right too much. So anyway, I did my whole order with Dream Home Arcades, and you can do custom. You can just like North Coast Custom Arcades. You can customize your panel however you want it. I should probably. Well, I'll get to that. You can customize. I'm gonna go all around the cabinet after I talk here and go into every detail. But anyway, you can customize everything. Customize the side art. You can customize the bottom art. Everything. And so the only problem was that the marquee sent from Vitrolite from China, they couldn't get it to work. So it was like, I think it might have been like, it was either weeks or maybe even months of going back and forth with these Vitrolite assholes to like try to fix the issue, and they weren't very helpful. And there's also a language barrier. And then finally they were like, all right, pay us more money and we'll send you another one. I think I had to pay maybe I might have had to pay $200. I'd already paid $740. This cost me $740 just for the marquee. So I might have had to pay $200, might have been more, I can't remember, to get them to send another marquee to Dream Home Arcades, which is now known as Extreme Home Arcades. I think they changed their name because there's a competitor called like Dream Arcades. That's probably why. Anyway, they sent the new marquee and that one worked. So once that shit was in and working, they could ship it to me. So they shipped it, and I'll put some pictures up of when I first got it shipped to me. And it sat in my garage for a little while. When it first came to me, the wheels on the bottom were broken. It's not really their fault. It's probably the shipping company's fault, but like the wheels maybe can't handle all the weight because this thing's fucking heavy. I don't know what it weighs, but it's fucking heavy. And so the wheels were broken, and even if I put the rubber back on the wheels, it wouldn't roll. So like it might have been like bent and shit. So what I did was I just took the wheels off, and I just put this thing's on carpet, so I just put carpet sliders under the feet. and that's good enough for me to slide it around. So yeah, okay. I didn't talk about the price. So it was a $500 deposit. The marquee was $740. That was from Vitrolite though, so Extreme Home Arcades might give you a better price. I have no idea. But then 740 plus that extra I paid, so I don't even know for sure. But then they gave me an invoice for $5,886. That includes, obviously the whole cabinet, the coin doors, the guns, because I got AimTrak guns, then a 4-way joystick, a spinner, and a trackball, and of course four-player joysticks, and then the 1 and 2 player have 8 buttons, and then the 3 and 4 player each gets 6 buttons, and then your custom artwork, and and then as I say, coin doors and all that. So I think it took about 5 months, but I've heard they might be at like 8 or 9 months now, because I think they have like way more business now than they did back in, because I ordered this in 2016, and yeah, I think they're getting a lot more business. So the TV, this is just a TV. It's a Hitachi 49-inch diagonal. It's just a 50-inch TV. It's a Hitachi LE49A509 LCD TV. And as I said, the marquee is a 37.5 diagonal stretched bar Vitrolite LCD. The control panel is 48 inches wide. The cabinet is 39.5 inches in length. I guess that's like maybe this way. Yeah, 39.5 inches, or you could call that depth, I guess. That's I don't remember if that is with because you can take the control panel off. That's probably with the control panel on. So yeah, that's with the control panel on. So if you take this off, you're gonna have less depth, I think. 45.75 inches wide. That's with the control panel off though. That's from here to here. And then 77.5 inches tall. And there's a power button up here. That's how you turn it on and off. It turns everything on. It turns the PC on, the TV, the marquee, everything with one button up here. So there's a PC in here. So I still have the original PC it came with. It has an i5 4440 CPU, an NVIDIA GTX 750 Ti. It came with 4 gigs of RAM, but I added another 4 gigs, so it's 8 gigs of RAM. And originally it was Windows 7, but I upgraded to their newer drives, which are Windows 10, and I'll talk about that further in this video. So that's it for the basics, and I'm gonna start getting into the details now. Alright, I switched it from Rolling Thunder to a more popular game, Mortal Kombat, and I'm gonna talk about the actual cabinet now in more detail. So this marquee, one thing I wanted to say is it looks way better in person. Like in video, it tends to look washed out and not nearly as vibrant as this TV screen here, but like the marquee looks awesome in person. It looks even better than the TV in person. You just can't see in video, and that's one of my struggles. I often struggle with trying to get both screens looking good in the same video. Anyway, alright, first thing we're going to talk about is the panel here. So when I first got this thing in 2016, I kind of just copied, something that somebody else had already done. On the website, you can look at all of the machines that people have ordered, and you can see the art that they picked. So somebody had this like Pac-Man like pellet thing going around here, and then up here was like Pac-Man eating some ghosts, and I was just like, all right, good enough. I didn't put a lot of thought into it, and so I just went with that. And then the side art, is logos. So this other guy did logos, and I was like, all right, I'll just do these logos, but I changed it to have logos that I wanted. So this side I have console, and this side I have arcade companies. So about the control panel. So it originally came with black joysticks. I'll talk about that later. They're a different type of joystick, and I switched them out for these. And you know, I had the same color buttons. I had buttons to match the coin door lights here, and a four-way joystick, a spinner, and then these buttons are mouse buttons. This is left mouse click, this is right mouse click. I think one of them, like this might have been middle originally and this was right mouse click, but I switched it so that this is right mouse click, and then I wired this button to be escape to the iPack. And these labels here, I had a company print these out for me, and this is so people that come over here can hopefully figure out how to use this thing on their own. See, start and select, and then insert coin. But still, I have to babysit people, unfortunately. Alright, so I went with just standard buttons, you know, standard concave buttons here, because that's what I'm used to in the arcade. You know, as a kid in the 80s and 90s, this is how buttons were. You can get LED, like RGB lit up buttons and joysticks and even a trackball, but I didn't care about that because that's not how games were back then. But one thing cool about that is you can have them lit up like whatever color you want. And like, so like say you're playing Mortal Kombat, the way I have Mortal Kombat, I have only these buttons are active. I think I have this button is block, and then this is you know, like high, I can't remember exactly. This is high punch, maybe that's high punch, I can't remember now. High punch, low punch, high kick, low kick, block, and then that button doesn't do anything. So if you had RGB buttons, you could light these up so that people would know that only these buttons are active for the game. I'm not sure how well that works and if it's reliable. I've never tried it. Yeah, there's a trackball, and I opened this thing up because I thought maybe it needed cleaning, but when I opened it up, there was nothing in there to clean. Like the rollers had nothing on them. And I'll let you listen to it. Okay, so sometimes it'll feel like it locks up a little bit, but I don't know. So it's a HAP. It's a HAP trackball. I don't know if there are higher quality trackballs that are even smoother, but I use this as my mouse also, and it's worked fine for me. One thing, the art here looks like, I don't know, there's a slight issue there. I don't know what's going on there, like it's sticking up a little bit. So about the panel. So as I said, I originally had that Pac-Man panel, and what ended up happening was, I'll put pictures up, it ended up bubbling. Like the artwork was just like bubbling in various places. I think over here, and then various other places you'll see in the pictures. And there was actually by default, Extreme Home Arcades puts a clear acrylic panel down, and I didn't really like it because there were screws all over the place that held the panel down, and wherever there was a screw, or wherever these joystick bolts were, or like wherever there were buttons, like you could see that it was darker around them. And that might have been because my panel was it was black. It might have made that more pronounced, but you know, it just, I'm putting pictures up right now, hopefully, and you can see what I mean. I didn't like how it looked, and I decided, well, about the bubbling, I talked to Dave, the owner of Extreme Home Arcades, and we had to have we had a back and forth kind of argument about it for a while. And after a lot of arguing, he finally agreed to give me a new panel. What he said was this window here. I originally didn't have these blinds on this window. This is a small basement window, and there's like a bunch of trees out there. But still, he was saying that too much sunlight was coming in through the window and hitting the side here and hitting the control panel. So he was saying that because of the sunlight was hitting it, that it was causing the bubbling. And I disagreed. I was like, it's not enough sunlight coming through this window. Because as I said, there's some big ass trees out there. But I did notice that, yeah, some sunlight was hitting this control panel. So he ended up adding into his like warranty information, something like, sun damage is not included after that. But anyway, he sent me a new panel. I had to send my original panel in with I sent it in with all the joysticks and buttons and everything on it. And I just had to pay shipping. Then they made me a new panel with new art, because I was like, well, if I'm taking a new panel, maybe I'll put some more thought into it. And then this new panel, I talked to them about it, and they agreed that they would not do the clear acrylic. That they would, I think he said it was some new process they were going to use. So like this panel, I think, has some sort of maybe plasticky coating, which to me makes it feel more like a real arcade cabinet, because I don't really remember arcade cabinets having that clear acrylic. I feel like a lot of times they just had like straight plastic or whatever the hell it was. And I've had this thing, I don't know, for years now, and I haven't had any issues. It hasn't gotten damaged. There's been no issues. So I would recommend getting this instead of that clear plastic that has screws all over the damn place. I don't know, unless you think you're going to spill drinks and you're going to have little kids with messy hands all over it. I like this. I like the way it looks. And also, normally you're going to have a screw here and a screw on this end, and I said I didn't want that. So now it's just nice and clean up here. And I think normally there's supposed to be a, like this thing that's down here, this plastic thing, I think it normally extends here and like touches against the monitor. But I don't know, I did it this way instead. I can't remember why I did that exactly. So that's my panel. The only thing that happened in, there's something that happened in shipping. It's not a big deal to me. Yeah, there's just that. It's down here. I mean, I could just I could probably fix that or paint it or whatever. But I mean, nobody's seeing that. Now, I'll open this up in a second. But first thing, okay, this four-way joystick, I don't think I ever use this. And so I don't really recommend it. I feel like the 8-way works just fine for 4-way games. The spinner I use for driving games and maybe Arkanoid, shit like that. The trackball you'd use for like Marble Madness, but I use the trackball all the time. That's my mouse. And those are my mouse buttons. As far as the art, so I went with this. You've probably seen this image before. This is just like, a bunch of logos, different gaming companies, arcade companies and stuff. So my idea for the art was, there are some games where if you play 4-player or in X-Men's case 6-player, you're going to be forced to use a certain character. Rampage is a 3-player game, but if you play on one-player controls, you're forced to be George. In Gauntlet, if you play the 4-player version, you're forced to be this warrior guy. If you play Sunset Riders, I think this guy's name is Billy, like Billy the Kid. And then you'd have to use him. Then Marge, you'd have to use her. Then, Leonardo, you'd have to use him for Ninja Turtles. And Cyclops, I'm not sure if it's only the 6-player version or the 4-player also. You'd have to use Cyclops. So this was my idea, to just like games that are like really popular. I'll put the characters that you're forced to use for those games. But if these games have a 2-player version, a lot of times they'll let you pick your character. So over here, Lizzie, this is the Valkyrie. I think this guy's name is Bob. Then Homer, Michelangelo, and Colossus. Over here you have this elf dude. Then this guy, his name might be Hormondo. Lisa, Raphael, Storm. I'm testing my memory here. This is Ralph. This is Merlin, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know your name. Bart, Donatello, and Wolverine. All right. So that was my idea. Yeah, this art on the side, not very interesting. You know, I thought about putting characters there from like my favorite games, but then I was like, well, shit. Then I gotta like decide my favorite games. I can, not even just doing that is hard as hell for me. So down here, I got these coin doors. These might have come from Groovy Game Gear, and then like I think I like told Dream Home Arcades like what I wanted, and then they ordered them or something. So as I said, these match the colors up here. And these aren't, as far as I know, these aren't functional. I mean, these move here. That's about it. Right here, this is where the guns plug in. The AimTrak guns. So this right here is a like for power, for recoil, because these guns can do recoil. But I always turn recoil off because to me it's too loud. And this is just a USB port. Over here you can see the other one. There's the USB port and the recoil connection. And if I turn this phone, you can see it looks like shitty right there. That's because there were a metal bracket on each side. There's one over here you can see there too. Well, the metal bracket, sometimes people would sit down to play and like have their legs under, and their legs would hit the metal bracket. So I removed them. So that's why it looks like that. The metal brackets were to hold the AimTrak guns. Now I just put the guns over there or wherever the hell. Some people will have installed like Scantron 5K. He installed like baskets down here to hold the guns. I should probably do something like that if I wasn't lazy. This right here is the volume control. It's a dial. So a lot of times when I'm playing like in a video, you might see me reaching down my right hand. I'm playing with this thing, and I'm not playing with myself. I'm playing with this thing to get the volume right. Because a lot of times I have to worry, all right, is this too fucking loud? Am I going to wake up my baby? Right now, my baby's upstairs asleep. And I got to worry about shit like that. Because this thing has a subwoofer, and shit can get too loud. What next? We will open up the cabinet. Open up the control panel, I mean. So this is what's nice about not having the screws. I don't have to fuck with the screws, and I can just easily open it up. And it's nice that it just stands like that. It'll just stand there. So these are joysticks, my joysticks that I put in myself to replace the originals. So the originals, as I said, I think were, I don't know if I said, they were, I'm going to show you the original right now. So this is the original joystick. It's this black joystick. It's a Hap Super, basically. I'm not sure if it's a generic, but this is what the originals are like. They have these metal prongs. So this E-ring right here, I have it loose just so that I can show something to you in a second. But when it moves, the actuator, this is hard to do with. So it hits the metal prong, and then it hits the switch. So X arcades have the same type of joystick. They might have a more generic version, this instead of the Hap version. But like I found when I use these joysticks, that hitting diagonals can be difficult. So like right here, sometimes this diagonal isn't registering. And that's why when I had my X arcades, I replaced the joysticks with Hap competitions. Hap competitions are more like this joystick here. This is an IL Euro stick. Hap competitions, so they have like a nylon square, and this square just hits those switches directly. There's no metal prongs at all that you have to worry about, because these metal prongs can get bent and not hit the switch directly. And you can see that square is really big. It's like when you move this joystick, you are not gonna miss that switch. Versus here, there's more space, and that's actually the biggest actuator that you can use on. So you can flip this piece of plastic here. So the one that's down there is the one that they recommended for 8-way games. The one that's closer to the E-ring there, that's the 4-way. and I'm going to show you in a second. Okay, I took it out. Now, the side on this little actuator on the right, that's the 8-way, which is more sensitive. And then the one that I'm holding that's smaller, that is the 4-way, less sensitive. So if you have these, HAP Super type of joysticks, if you ever find they're not sensitive enough, it could be this. It could be you need to reverse this to make it more sensitive. So there's the 4-way smaller version. If you have that in, it's going to be much harder to use diagonals. But even with this bigger 8-way side in, I find that these IL Euro sticks are way better at hitting diagonals. So I prefer these. So I replaced all of my joysticks with those IL Euro sticks. And then another benefit was I got colors that matched my buttons. Because as I said, the joysticks were originally all black. This right here, this 4-way joystick, as I said, I don't use it. It's basically a waste of space. This is the spinner right here. Here's the trackball. This is a HAP trackball. I opened it up. Like I said, I tried to clean it. There's nothing to clean. It was kind of tricky to get this thing open. It was tough. You had to I had to knock it really hard to break it open and get the trackball out and everything. That is the iPack. That's the Ultimark iPack 4. That's what's doing all of the keyboard encoding. All of your inputs are, your joystick and button inputs, they're all going through that. The trackball and the spinner are both probably, I think they're both USB, so they're just going through that. And you can do things like hook up wireless. See, this is a Wii U wireless hub here. I tried it before, it worked. But I don't really have a need to use it, because I just use the arcade control panel for everything. Alright, I loaded up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I wanted to show you something that I consider an issue for 4-player games. So I loaded up the 4-player version. Alright, so I'm going to start over here with this character. It's Donatello. His start is, hang on, April. Alright. So, what I'm trying to show you here is this joystick. The way this joystick is aligned is that is up. Let me kill this fucking Foot Clan dude. Alright. So, basically what I'm trying to show you here is up on the joystick does not align perfectly with the character. It's like he's going straight up and down, but I'm doing diagonal up and down. So if I press right, he's gonna go right. He's going right, what looks like right if you're one player. So to me, it's always felt a little weird because this joystick is aligned with the buttons. So when you're the 3rd and 4th player, the orientation is a little off. So if you press left here, he'll go left on the game, but only left. It's left based on the one player's orientation. So, let me pause it. So, basically what I'm saying is I think they should have made all of the joysticks the same orientation. They should have made the 3 and 4 player joysticks the same orientation as the 1 and 2 player. Because, you press, so, right now, that is up, but I'm saying I think this should be up. So, I'm not sure if there's a way I could do that myself. It might be tough because of these holes that are in here, like to grind all this out and then rotate that joystick. I'm not even sure if the joystick could be rotated that way because there's not a lot of space there with the buttons. I don't know if I'd have to get a whole new panel. I did buy some Ultimark like U360 joysticks to try to fix this issue, and I tried those out and I didn't really like them. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. But how often is it that I have a bunch of people here, especially now? Never. So I don't know if it matters. Let me show another example. Okay, Gauntlet might be an even better example of this issue. So I'm gonna come over here. I don't know, maybe this time will be the elf dude. And let me see. Level 1. Okay. So we have a green dude and we have green buttons and joystick. So it's hard to get this all on screen, but let me get down lower. Monsters rock! Oh, I just hit the pinball machine button. So if I hit to the right, let me hit down. So like the down doesn't line up exactly with him. If I press up, I mean, maybe it's close enough for most people, but like it's slightly off. It's off enough that it bothers me if I'm ever playing as the third or fourth player. But maybe most people don't care. I don't know. But it's lined up with the buttons, not with like the orientation of the screen, and so it's just messes with my mind a little bit. Like I'm having trouble just getting to that treasure. So like I'm pressing straight down to me, but he's not coming that direction. Like so he would be going this direction when I press down, like in my mind. And if I press up, he would be going like that direction. But instead he goes up that way. If I press down, toward me, he goes down that way. And I don't know. It's something to think about if you get a control panel made. Here's another thing to think about. So like some of these joysticks, see how that looks off center? Maybe don't get some shit like this that's gonna make that obvious. Like if I did this again, I wouldn't get any of this artwork around it because like yeah, that's off center too. See that 4-way joystick? It's probably hard to get it all lined up just right. Because I don't know, they probably do the holes, drill all the holes, and then the artwork is probably last. So it's probably hard to get the artwork lined up just right. Speaking of artwork, you can see there's places where there's like, I don't know if you call that bubbling, but it's where the vinyl, this stuff comes from like Game On Graphics. You can see there, yeah, there's bubbles there and there's like lines and stuff. I don't look at this shit much, so I don't really care much, but some people might. There's let me see if I can get better angle. Bubbles, there's a bunch of bubbles. So people get new art. I don't know how the hell they line it up right. I wouldn't know how to do that. So this is the side that, Extreme Home Arcades says got that sunlight. There's some bubbles down there too. Let's go look at the side that didn't get much sunlight. The pinball machine's helping me with that light show. Yeah, this side didn't get much light, and you can see I'm seeing less bubbling, so maybe they were telling the truth, that maybe it was mostly due to sunlight. So don't let sunlight hit your machine. There's something there. Some people say you can just stick a needle in and like get the air out on some of this stuff. I don't really care. I don't ever look at this stuff. I don't even care about the side art. So I think, well, there's one more thing. I haven't talked about the guns fully. So these are, I have two of these that came with it. This is an AimTrak gun by Ultimark. I ordered these before years ago, and I had a lot of trouble getting them to work. I don't know, maybe one of them worked and the other one didn't, but I was having so many problems getting them to work. I knew when I ordered them, these are probably going to be a huge fucking pain in my ass and not work properly. But these have worked better with this machine than I ever was able to get them to work before. I don't know if Ultimark improved them over the years or what. Or the utility that comes with it to calibrate it and all that shit is better. Or Extreme Home Arcades did a better job than I did with the configuration or something. But yeah, so these things work, you know, in gun games. They don't work great. Like you're almost, it's very hard to aim down the sights, the iron sights, and actually be accurate. You can calibrate it and you can try, but it seems like whenever I try, it's always going to be a little off. So like, let's see, I'm aiming here, like, say I'm aiming there. See where that elf guy is? Maybe that's where the actual bullet would go. It's very hard to, and you have to stand in a very specific spot. If you like change where you're standing a little bit, it'll fuck it all up. But in games like, in MAME games, MAME, obviously, my favorite emulator, you can get a crosshair, and you can customize the crosshairs and how they look. But anyway, when you move your gun, you'll see your crosshair move on the screens. So that's great. Then you don't have to worry about aiming down the sights, and you can just, you know, move the gun and play. But some emulators like Demule, I can't get a crosshair. So it's a lot of just guessing. And like a lot of times your first couple bullets are just going to be guess bullets, and then like, oh, that's where it's pointing. Okay, and then you adjust while you're firing. So like I recently did a video of House of the Dead 2, and that's how I had to play. I had to like fire, then I'm realizing, all right, now I need to adjust a little bit over here, you know. So these aren't great. There are guns coming out called Sinden light guns that are supposedly way more accurate. But the only drawback with that is they're going to put a white border around the game window. And I don't know if I would like that. That would screw up my bezels and shit. So I don't know. I don't play gun games that much anyway. So it's not that big of a deal to me. So I think I've covered the outside of the cabinet for the most part, so I'm gonna move on to something else. All right, now you're gonna see how I get to the back of the machine. And just pull it. And it's, like I said, it's on carpet sliders. Okay. It comes with keys, so there are panels. There's 2 panels in the back that you unlock. So there's the power cord. I drilled a hole just for some other cords to come out there. So for me to get this out, there you can see in there, computer, subwoofer, and everything. I'm going to get my hands free. I forgot to say, it comes with a manual, and this thing, you can download this online also. So if you go to the website, extremehomearcades.com, see there it says Dream Home Arcades, the old name. You can get this manual. It tells you lots of stuff. Look at all this shit I wrote over here. I wrote like all the different emulators. So yeah, you know, all sorts of shit in here. By the way, over here, this is the marquee from Vitrolite that never worked. they sent it to me. Dream Home Arcade sent it to me, and I've never hooked it up to see if it actually works. Because the shit in the back, it's kind of like, that looks kind of like a mess I don't want to deal with. And there's more cords than that I'm not showing you. But I don't know. If you're interested, let me know. All right. So we're going inside. So there's the PC. I took it open and never put the outer case back on. Probably should have, whatever. So that's it. I told you the specs before. That's supposed to be spinning? Or is that a heatsink? No, that's just a heatsink. Alright. So, okay, you can see over here the power supply. I took it out. I took the power supply out because this case just seems so compact and like everything was just shoved together that I took the power supply out just to give it better airflow, and because I was in here messing with stuff. So like I added some RAM and I was doing some other things in there, messing with SATA cables, and that's why I just made it easier. So there's the subwoofer, and those speakers that I showed you before on the front, they're connected to that. These are the coin doors. Here's the TV. There you go. There you can see Hitachi and model and all that shit. Yeah, so I would never want to build one of these things. That's why I got it. I think if I built one, it would be really shitty and I wouldn't be happy with it. So you can see, you know, the surge protector in here. I'm not sure what the hell that is. Here are the hard drives. So as I think I said earlier, originally I had the Windows 7. So this is the original Windows 7 1 terabyte SS. It's kind of it's like a hybrid drive. It's like a SSD / hard drive disk hybrid drive. So I'm not using this now. I'm using the Windows 10 drive. So since this thing's on, probably shouldn't move any of these drives. The SSD I could. So this is 1 terabyte also. 1 terabyte revision 34G April 2020 Windows 10 drive. So that's the new one. So yeah, right there is the 6 terabyte. That's the original I got in 2016. And this drive here is 10 terabytes. That's the new data drive for Windows 10. I have this hooked up in case I need any of the data off of that. So I can just pull that over at any time. So there's a USB hub. There's a little hub. Some people have said it's best to plug these USB devices directly into the computer if you have enough ports. I've been thinking about, like, I have spare computers that aren't even being used. I want to build or just reuse one of my existing computers and make that my new arcade cabinet PC, like with some badass hardware. Because there's still some MAME games that run slowly, like NBA Showtime and like Carnival. Those don't run at full speed for me. Like the sound stutters and shit. I'm thinking if I upgrade my PC, that won't be a problem anymore. See this shit here? See, like, you can see some of this, like, sort of ghetto looking tape and shit. I did that to block some of the light. Like, see, these things you know, are generating light, and a PC might be, I don't know. I did that just to block any light from getting down in here and coming through. It's not necessary, it's just some extra crap I did. I've never even opened the top panel. Maybe I'll open the top panel and see what the hell's going on there. Hopefully this doesn't come crashing down on me. Alright. Okay, so it's all you're seeing here is TV. What's up here? Oh, okay, that's where you get to the back of the speaker. Alright. What's up here? Don't even know. Okay, so up there you can see the marquee. See, that's a bunch of shit that I don't want to mess with. So you can see why I haven't really wanted to test that extra one I have. Alright. Okay, so when I got it in 2016 and I first turned it on, my first reaction was disappointment, because the first thing it did once it booted up was it started playing this really pixelated commercial for something like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on like Nintendo DS or some shit. And I was like, what the hell is going on? What are they trying to sell me something? Why am I watching a commercial? What the hell? It was so pixelated. And then the marquee up top. I remember it was some like Dream Home Arcade's image they used. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, it made the marquee look really bad. It made me even think the marquee was cracked. And I sent Dave like an angry email about it, because I didn't figure it out yet. But anyway, it wasn't cracked. It just was a shitty image. And those commercials, I was like, what the fuck is that? Unfortunately, even in the new drives they're sending out, they have these like old ass pixelated commercial videos displaying. It's the first thing you see when it boots up. And I don't know why they're still doing it. So part of this drive, there's in my opinion, there's tons of crap. And that's some of the crap. So luckily you can disable that. There's like a startup script that does shit like that, like load those videos. Or you can go into the front end that I'm moving, like when I press this joystick, is called Hyperspin. Hyperspin, you know, there's a program called HyperHQ where you can change the settings and you can disable startup videos. So you could disable shit like that from happening. Also, when you first, turn the machine on, it goes straight into Hyperspin by default. And I don't like that. I want to go to Windows. So let me exit out of Hyperspin. There's Windows. And it's still going to show this marquee as long as, because Hyper Marquee is the program that's running that. And now it's gone because I just closed Hyper Marquee. Anyway, so when I boot my machine up, this is the screen I want. I just want to be in Windows, and I have a black background just so that it doesn't interfere with the marquee at all, because I was finding that when I had a background that had any sort of design, I was sometimes seeing that image displaying on my marquees, and so I just did a black background. So here are icons that I use the most often. So yeah, I made it in the startup, Windows startup. I disabled the startup that they had, and that made it so that it would go into Windows every time, and then I can do whatever I want in Windows. And if I want to go to Hyperspin, I just go over to this Hyperspin icon. Alright, so we're in Arcade Classics. Okay, now, first of all, this type of theme here, this MAME Arcade Classics theme, this is not my type of theme. This is, I guess this is called a cinematic theme. This to me is way too much. There's way too much going on. There's too much fucking music. It's like all this techno and fucking bass. No. In my previous Windows 7 Extreme Home Arcades build, it just had this theme where you just saw, various games. Like it might show Street Fighter 2, and it might show Donkey Kong, and it might show, whatever else. Just some games. I like something more simple. This is like too fucking dramatic for me. So that's one thing. Alright, so now I'm gonna press the start button to get into Arcade Classics. This is going straight to my favorites. So every game you're seeing here is in my favorites list, and for most of them I have a good marquee. That looks pixelated in person, so I would need to improve that. And remember that all of this shit looks way better in person than it looks in video. Like for this video I'm recording right now, I turned down the ISO, and you know that tends to make it look better. So and I have to fuck with the brightness and shit. It's kind of hard because these monitors are a little bit different and how bright they are, and you know how vivid they are. Like the marquee looks better in person, but in video it usually looks worse. So yeah, what I end up having to do is a lot of times I have to go to NVIDIA control panel, and that's where I go to adjust how this marquee looks so that it looks right, like in videos. Kind of a pain in my ass. Speed Rumbler. I played this in a video not too long. Super Spy. God, that game's a pain in the ass. So in my Windows 7 build, the version of Hyperspin they had, sometimes you press down and it would skip 2 games. You just press down once and it would skip twice, and it was really pissing me off. So I looked into it and I found out that version of Hyperspin, like that was a known issue with that version of Hyperspin, and I was thinking like, all right, well why the fuck would you use this then? Why would you use that version of Hyperspin if it had that issue? So I went and I got a updated version of Hyperspin that didn't have that issue. And at the time, I didn't know shit about Rocket Launcher. So updating the version of Hyperspin like totally fucked up everything. And for a while, I didn't know like how to fix it. Like I would try to play Thunderblade and it wouldn't work because I didn't know shit about Rocket Launcher yet. So if you're gonna mess around with files or update Hyperspin or update any emulator, you're going to have to learn Rocket Launcher. This front end is Hyperspin. Rocket Launcher is just a launcher program that's in the background. That's the program that displays the bezels and displays the fade screen. So let me go to Thunderblade. We'll go into Thunderblade right now. I don't have a fade screen for Thunderblade. That's a shame. So like this is just like a default fade screen. This is what you're going to get for most games. So like here's the bezel. Rocket Launcher is displaying this bezel. And I don't know if you can see, but you can see scan lines, and that's HLSL. That's a feature in MAME where you can adjust it however you want it to look, and you can like round the corners, and you can you know, put reflections on the screen. You can make it look vignetted. You can do whatever you want. It's awesome. I made a video, so you can look at that if you want. Just search for HLSL in my videos. So I'm going to hit exit, and now we're back to Hyperspin. So some of these games like this, that's not a marquee. That's just the wheel image for this game. And look, you can see the theme isn't loading. There might not be a theme, or the theme might have an issue. Now the theme loads. So with Hyperspin, sometimes there can be issues like that with the themes. I don't know why. These themes are like Flash. I think they're like Flash videos and shit, or Flash animations. Like this stuff might be like some sort of Flash thing, and this is a separate video. I think you can get themes that are just all 100% straight video. Maybe those work better. Thunder Fox, I played that. Thunder Jaws, I don't think I played that in a video yet. Tiger Road, I did. That game got hard. All right, so what was I gonna do? All right. There's a button, let me see. Okay, that's a favorites button. So like if a game, you know, you can remove games from your favorites or view your favorites if you're not already in your favorites. Where's the genre? Okay, I just hit the genre button. So here you go. If I go to all games, this will show every MAME game, not just my favorites. So if you scroll through this would take hours to scroll through every single MAME game there is, because So for each game, so like here's where The Simpsons. Well, look how many different versions of The Simpsons there are. You know, if we get to Street Fighter, here's more Simpsons. These ones for some reason don't use. Look, Megacade, 1999, The Simpsons Megacade. Who knows what the fuck that is? So like a lot of these games are clones, and what that means is there's multiple versions of the same game. Like, see, it says set 6. So that means there was also a set 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And all of those count as ROMs. So Extreme Home Arcade says they have like 65,000 or 70,000 plus games on these machines. I don't know if they're including each of these individual ROMs. They probably are. Because, like, alright, MAME has, I don't know, over 10,000 ROMs, but individual games, I don't know what that number would be. It would be, and I don't know, it might be, it's over 5,000 probably. I don't know how many it is. In actual individual games. So, like, here's Three Stooges set 1 and Three Stooges set 2. Well, that's actually one individual game. But if I sat here scrolling through this, yeah, I actually did this before. This is how dedicated I am. I scrolled through the entire MAME catalog, and I looked at every single fucking game to decide which of these looks interesting to me. Because, like, some of these, you're going to find all sorts of shit that you never knew existed. And then what I would do was I would add it to my favorites. And go like, oh, that shit looks cool. Let me try that later. Add it to my favorites. Add it to my favorites. So my favorites list is over, it's like 2,500 games. But this list of games is Tubin. That's a game I need to play. Tubin. That's awesome. But, see, like, that looks shitty. Let me go up. And then I'll go up again. No, maybe not that. I gotta go down. There. That's the revision 3. That's the one that has the ROM name that corresponds with the name of this marquee. So that's the only way you're going to see this marquee, because it's named the same as the ROM. If we went to revision 2, you get this shitty looking Tubin, because revision 2 would be named something like Tubin 2 or something like that. And what you can do if you want revision 2 to look like that one, you could just take this file, copy it, and rename it to Tubin 2, you know, the copy, and there you're gonna, you know, so that's how that works. But yeah, Tubin's cool. So I'm going to back out. So that's Arcade Classics. That's MAME. I hate this theme. Alright. That's the main thing I have this machine for, and I'm MAME-FAN, so that makes sense. That's a shitty marquee. That's a good marquee. So, like, you know, most of the games, the vast majority of the games I play are MAME games. Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator. It's the most badass emulator there is, and I love it. I would fucking marry MAME if I could. I'm married, though, so I don't know how my wife would feel about that. So I made that marquee. It looks very similar to that. So a lot of times what I do is, if I can't find good marquee art, I'll just take art that's out of the Hyperspin theme, and I'll throw it into a marquee. I need to make some videos where I show how I do all that, how I make marquees and how I make bezels. So, there's MAME. MAME is awesome. Here's Daphne. Daphne is Laserdisc games. So, like, somebody requested Cliffhanger, so I have this nice marquee. I think I even made a bezel for it, but I wasn't happy. Okay, so there's a fade screen showing the actual arcade game, and I got that art. So yeah, I made this bezel, but then I started playing it. The game's kind of shitty in my opinion. And I started playing it. I didn't really like the quality of the video. And this is how fucking anal I am. Alright, in this video, a lot of times you can see horizontal lines, and I can see it right now, the horizontal lines. I don't know if it's like this needs to be higher res or what the deal is, but it annoys me enough that before I want to play this game in a video, I want to get the best quality video I can get. So that's why I haven't played this Alexander Richmond. Alright. That game over you just saw, that was a fade out screen. So you can, the fade in is what displays when the game loads, and the fade out is what displays as you're exiting, and that all of that's handled by Rocket Launcher. Dragon's Lair, I did this game. What else have I done in here? I did Mach 3. I made a bezel for this, and this has a good marquee. Space Ace, I did a video of Space Ace. It didn't record the way I would like, so like when it recorded, their skin looked really purple for some reason. God damn it. Their skin looked really purple, Ace and the girl. But in person, it looked more like that. There's Quest, all this stuff. Alright, so that's that. Daphne, by the way, is a pain in the ass to set up. So an advantage of getting this cabinet is you wouldn't have to fuck with it. If you're trying to do this on your own, you're going to really struggle with Daphne. It sucks. Alright. Daphne HD, that's a whole other thing. I don't want to get into it. Alright, American Laser Games. These are like games like Mad Dog McCree. It's mostly shooting games. Somebody requested Mad Dog McCree, and I want to play it. But here's another example of me being anal. I can't get the bezel to work right, so I haven't played it. I mean, like, it just takes something like that for me. Like, all right, I gotta figure this out, and I just haven't figured it out yet. So yeah, you can see it's a bunch of shooting games here. So, okay, the order that you're seeing these things, I customize this. I put certain things first. You can. I mean, maybe I'll make a video where I show how you can do that. This THX Laserdisc, I think this is just like Windows versions of, like Dragon's Lair Trilogy and Day of the Tentacle. That's all that is. So, okay, here's a gripe of mine. Should I have this sound on or not? Like, when you go to each game in Hyperspin, you're going to hear audio. But like, I don't really want to talk over it too much. Anyway, this is a single game, Time Gal. I did a video of Time Gal. Then under it, Ninja Hayate. That's a single game, This is a big gripe of mine. I hate it. That they have, there's a lot of cases in the wheel, the Hyperspin wheel, where EHA puts single games. These should be in with Daphne, some other category, whatever, not single games. I don't want to see a single game on my Hyperspin wheel. Now, I left them here this way so that I could talk about this in a video and complain, because I like to complain. And I want to stress that. Never again. Now, what I'm going to do, if this doesn't get fixed, because here's the thing. They will update their build, and you can get free updates for life, they say, as long as you send your drive in, and then they'll do it for you. But their builds keep getting bigger and bigger with bigger hard drives. Like my original data drive was a 6 terabyte. Well, now they're using 10 terabyte drives. Well, shit, who knows what they're going up to next? Maybe it's 15 or 16 terabytes. I don't even know. Or maybe even more drives. Maybe you have 3 drives. So maybe they'll update it, and there's some people working behind the scenes that are trying to improve all this stuff. So let me show you this. This is the House of the Dead. This is a category that includes House of the Dead 1, 2, 3, and 4. I did a video recently of House of the Dead 1 running the Sega Naomi version of House of the Dead 1. Now let me load House of the Dead here. You can see this windows popping up. That's one thing I don't like. That should be that should be hidden. Okay, now we have that select display driver, and it just kind of went away. And what now? I heard a Windows sound that indicates a problem. And this is not the actual marquee. If you played it through the Sega, the Sega Model 2 emulator, you would get the actual marquee. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're just going to sit here at this black screen. And we can't see why that Windows sound happened, so I'm going to hit escape. Is that going to fix it? Okay, now we're back. Okay, that didn't work. All right, now it's frozen, so maybe we got to hit escape again. And now the marquee went away. Escape. All right, now it's okay. Who knows? Now let's go to House of the Dead 2. Okay, now I'm seeing the Windows bar at the bottom for some reason. We got these pop-up windows. I can see not support graphic device. That's not a good sign. I can see here there's Hyperspin, there's EDS, which is running HyperMarquee, which is that window. Not support graphic device. Can I use my mouse? I can see my mouse a little bit. All right. Oh shit. I didn't need to back out. All right, let's go to House of the Dead 3. We got a pop-up, but it seems like it's going. I think these are PC games, because I think these games were released on the PC. Can't init HAL device. Don't know what that means. I have no idea. All right, hit OK. All right, that was House of the Dead 3. Now we'll go to House of the Dead 4. House of the Dead 4. This is a Technoparrot game. Technoparrot is an emulator that emulates like more modern arcade games that run on PC hardware, like from the 2000s and the 2010s. You can see this is stretched. So like what I would do, somebody did request this game and I wanted to play it, but I couldn't get it to work, and I'll show you why. I couldn't get it to work right. So if I did, I would have fixed the marquee to look good for the video. I'm hitting start, and it's going to load up these windows. And say testing if you are a Patreon. Activation failed, banned, it says. I don't know if any of that shit matters. Okay. It says Techno Budgie. I don't know the difference between Technoparrot and Techno Budgie. I don't know. But anyway, it loads. It loads, but so here's my wireless keyboard. It has a trackpad on it and everything. I'm gonna turn the volume down. If I do Alt and Enter, nothing. You can try to get your mouse to go to the maximize. Okay, there it is. See, I hit maximize and it does that. So I've also gone into the emulator itself and made sure it had like full screen checked, and it was checked, and I unchecked it, and then I checked it back again, and I still had this same problem. And I asked Dave, the owner of Extreme Home Arcades, and he told me to mess with some files, and I tried that, and that didn't work. So I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know shit about Technoparrot, but these people that are working on trying to improve this Windows 10 build are working on Technoparrot, so I'm hoping that'll fix this. I don't know. It doesn't sound like other people are having the same problem, so I don't know. So, House of the Dead, this little category here is dead to me. But House of the Dead, like the Sega, if you go into the Sega emulators, and you play the House of the Dead 1 and 2. I've never tried 3. They work fine for me. Golden Tee, I don't give a shit about Golden Tee. What if we go into this? It's just showing like I think these are all MAME games, and I have marquees for a lot of these. Yeah, like that's a real marquee. So it's just, I mean, a lot of people like Golden Tee, so I guess they just put it into a category for those people. But then there's Golden Tee 4. Is this just a single game by itself? Oh, so I don't know what there's. So Golden Tee 4 must be a series of games or something. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, throw all this into the same category. They don't need to have 2 separate categories, or throw them into golf. I don't, whatever. All right, here's another Golden Tee Golf. What is this? Is this an individual game? I don't even know. I hit start. This might be a PC game. Yes. Oh, you've encountered a direct draw error. Try reinstalling your game or contact customer service. It says Golden Tee Golf, serious error. See, this is why I am not too keen on this Windows 10 build. And now I can't move, so I gotta probably hit escape. I might have to hit okay, now it's moving. All right, so I didn't say this earlier. This MAME build here is my own personal MAME build. It's not Extreme Home Arcade's MAME build. Not this part of it. Fuck this. This is stupid to me. So I'm using MAME 0.219 and my own configuration settings, my own HLSL, my own high score, DAD, and all that shit. And my own, obviously controller mappings. So when I first got this build and I started trying their MAME versions, I thought they looked shitty because their HLSL settings, I didn't like them. And they had some shadow mask on that like, just put, shadow masks are where you can make the pixels look however you want. You can make them look like more distinct or darker and everything. And they had a shadow mask on that I thought just made it look bad. So, that's something to note, because I've heard people on some forums complaining about how it looked, and then I had to tell them, hey, you need to go into HLSL and change those settings. So there's a lot. I have an HLSL video. Go look at that. It's a lot to get into. I don't really want to get into all that in this video. So Big Buck Hunter Arcade, is this like a single game? Okay, I guess they have every Big Buck Hunter game in here. I've never tested these, so I don't know if these work. I don't really feel like it. All right. Sega M2. Okay, we'll go in here. Indy 500, Sega Rally. I did a video of Sega Rally, but it's not showing my good marquee, so I don't know what the deal is with that. Virtua Cop. I haven't even tried these yet. I need to try these. But I'd be surprised if my gun works straight off the bat. Daytona. I've done Daytona. I don't know anything to say about this. Sega Model 3. Somebody requested Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. Let me see, what have I played in here that worked? Daytona 2, I played that. I had a little trouble getting the controls, but I was just using a joystick, which makes it hard. I think somebody's requested Lost World. I need to play that. I haven't tested that out. So Super GT, that's the same as Scud Race. Somebody requested Scud Race. I played that. I have not done Sega Rally 2. Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. I tried this and I had some problems. I don't know if any other people are too. And you can see there's no bezel, so this is a game where I would need a I would need to make a bezel. All right, so this is like an analog game, so it's probably hard to control with a joystick. So after this loading screen here, or whatever this is, you'll see my problem. Oh, wait. We're getting graphics. Last time I tried this, I didn't get any graphics. Okay, we're getting graphics. I don't have any buttons mapped. Yeah, nothing's working. So I don't know. Who knows? The controls are always going to be an issue. You're always going to have to remap them. So like, here's Star Wars Trilogy Arcade also. Down here, there was Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. So I don't know. There's two of them. I'm not sure why. This is the one that, where the fuck was it? There it is. If I go into this one, I think this was the one that wasn't working. I don't know why. I can't, yeah, no button's working. I don't know, probably because when I played Daytona and other shit, I had to remap buttons, and maybe that screwed up things for other games. But yeah, here you have a black screen. Why? I have no idea. But, so you're not going to get, I've tried all 3 missions. Not going to get any graphics on that, so I don't know what to tell you about that. Naomi, you saw that House of the Dead 2 wasn't working, but that was, I think, the PC version. Is House of the Dead 2 might be under Model 3. I don't remember. I don't know. We'll go to search here. I'm going to type in House of the Dead. And you can't press enter. You have to go down to search. And then you can press enter. No results? What are you talking about? See, this search isn't reliable. Maybe you might have to, I might have to like, is there a mouse available now? No. Maybe I have to say, I might have to say the House of the Dead? Shit. The House of the Dead. Oh, there we go. Okay. God damn it. Failure. I don't know what just happened. Let me back into the search, please. It's frozen. Come on. So, these are the types of problems you'll encounter. Unless they improve this, this will probably fix itself in a second. Hitting escape, Alt Tab. Oh, okay, there you go. Alt Tab fixed it. We'll try it again. So what I did was I hit enter on all. I wanted to show all. What's weird is I'm not seeing up there, like, yeah, it's only showing arcade classics, and that's not how I played it, because MAME won't actually do it. What the fuck? I gotta look again. That's the House of the Dead, the original. Okay, so that's M2. No? Ah. There it is. It's called House of the Dead. It's not called The House of... Like here it says House of the Dead. Alright. So, I'm just going to play this. And there's a fade screen that I created of the arcade flyer so you can see the different cabinets and shit. Will this load? Please load. Oh, it worked. So this bezel I made because it didn't have a bezel already. So anyway, this is to prove to you that House of the Dead 2 will work as long as you're loading up the correct one, whatever the hell that other one was. This is the one that I played in the video I did recently. All right, that took too long. Sega STV, Mario Kart DX. I'm gonna see if this will even work. Like, I'd be surprised if the controls work. Okay, there's a it's Techno Parrot. So, I don't know why that bottom bar keeps popping up. I might have gone into Techno Parrot and tried to get the controls working for this. I don't remember. Insert coin isn't doing anything. No, none of my buttons are doing anything. So, this might be... Escape's not doing anything? I can't escape? Oh, I'm still in hyperspin. Okay. Maybe it's having to load? Nothing's happening. You can tell I'm in hyperspin because you can see those other system images over there on the right. Okay. Maybe I gotta do an Alt-Tab. Maybe now, yeah, now I have, I'm gonna try this again. Well, like maybe, okay, this is probably, okay, there's like Mario Kart Arcade GP2. All right, let's try this. This is probably on Dolphin. My insert coin's doing nothing. Why? Okay, so the reason for that, I'm guessing, is there are a lot of games, for whatever reason, are by default mapped to wireless controllers, like 360, gamepads. To me, this is an arcade cabinet, so it should by default, every arcade game at least should work with your arcade control panel. No questions, no excuses, none. It should work with your joystick and buttons on your fucking panel. So that pisses me off that there's so many games that are like that. They need to give you an option, I guess, where you can choose when you're getting your machine made, I want everything to work with my panel, or I want all arcade games to work with my panel and all console games to work with my gamepads. Or I want everything to work with my gamepads, whatever. And they should give you a build that works correctly with all of it so that you don't have to Because like people that aren't technical and aren't used to this stuff, they're gonna have to go into the emulators. They're gonna have to figure out how to do that, and then change the controls. And even then, that sometimes doesn't work, you know. So I hit escape. I'm gonna get out of the Triforce bullshit. I don't know. There's 2 Triforces. I don't know why. That's strange. Nessica. That's a. Is this Taito? I can't remember. If it's Taito Games. It's arcade games that use PC hardware, sort of like Technoparrot. Yeah, they might be Taito. I don't know. A lot of Blaze Blue and shit like that. Elevator Action? Oh, this is Elevator Action. Okay, that's I've never seen this. This is like a 3D looking Elevator Action. That's cool. Alright. Hyper Neo Geo 64. I think I tried this once and it was working like shit. This might be just MAME. This is probably just MAME, yeah. So there are a lot of categories where it'll be just MAME games, but they separate it by the company that made it. Taito Type X. This is probably emulated by D-Mule. I'm not sure. Thomas Wade probably is. Open Beats of Rage it's this this platform where people can make any beat 'em up game they want with this like Streets of Rage kind of template. So like they can, you can see they made Punisher, they made you make fucking Spider-Man fighting aliens and shit. I mean, I guess there's like tons of sprites available, like from all the Capcom games and SNK games and shit. Oh, and if you saw me play that He-Man game, that's how they made that He-Man game. With open Beats of Rage. So here's an individual game, Tempest 4000. This needs to be in its own category, like PC games or something. Fix-It Felix Jr. needs to be in its own category. Same with Fix-It Felix Jr. 2. Mugen. Yeah, this Mugen, maybe Mugen, put Mugen and Open Beats of Rage and all of that type of shit into its same category of like homebrew or mods or something. I don't know. So here we're getting into like actual systems, like, home computers and consoles maybe. So I don't know shit about Amstrad or whatever, this GX4000. Oh yeah, by the way, I did get a bunch of high-res marquees for the systems, but then what it did was it made it take longer to scroll through all the wheel items. There's so many things on this wheel that I put it back to the lower res ones. So this is like lower res marquees, but I don't even care about these systems because I don't play consoles. I just play arcade games on this thing. I don't play Apple II or any of these computers. Atari 2600, 5200, 7800. Let's test this. All right, probably most people care about 2600. So all right, sure, I'll go to Berserk. See if it works. Okay. It's working. Okay, but you can't touch the wall. I never had an Atari. Oh, that fucking smiley face. One thing I don't like. Oh, I guess you can tell I never had an Atari. All right, we gotta start over. All right. One thing I don't like is that this is full screen. This, game is obviously not gonna be on a 16:9 TV. It was made to be 4:3. So I don't like any of these emulated games that are running at 16:9. I gotta get up. Can I shoot that? Oh, I can. This should be running at 4:3, not 16:9, because it's stretched right now. I don't like that. And it should have a bezel. This should be running at 4:3 with a bezel. So that's my opinion on that. I do not approve. Okay, so let's go to Jaguar. I've tested Jaguar before and it actually worked. What do I want to play? Alien versus Predator, alright. So if somebody, okay, I don't normally take console requests. There's a mouse pointer there, I don't like that. I want that off screen. I'm not sure why that's there. Usually the mouse pointer is not in the way. Alright, so this is full screen too. I don't like that. Okay, the buttons are working. So do we want to be, okay, we'll be Predator. So just like that Atari game I just played, this needs to be 4:3, just like it would have been originally, with a nice bezel. And it needs to have a nice marquee, which if I did this in a video, I would do all that. I'm pressing fire. Okay, so we can move, we can turn. Let's kill this fucker. There we go. Alright, what's in here? Some fucker's shooting me, I think. Who's shooting me? Oh, this fucker. Will you fucking die? Why won't you die? Maybe I wasn't all the way up on him. Okay. I never had a Jaguar. Close other airlock door first. This is like Alien. Got airlock doors. Alright. Airlock pressurizing. Okay. This is a loading screen, I guess. Can you go? Alright. This reminds me of Robotica. I had a Saturn and I had Robotica. Is this a door? That's a door. Oh shit. Okay, those are just barrels. Is this all I have? You fucker. Alright. Well, I obviously suck at that game, or control suck or something. Oh god, please don't tell me you're frozen or something. Come on. I hit escape. Oh man. Alright, Alt Tab. Oh, we're not seeing anything. This is why I just stick with MAME. This is pretty standard for using hyperspin and for using emulators. You're gonna have shit like this happen. It's really hard to avoid it. You know, I don't know if Extreme Home Arcades, if it would be even possible for them to eliminate this type of thing. They didn't create any of the software. They're not programmers. They just took these programs that other people made and, you know, put them all on this hard drive and threw Hyperspin and Rocket Launcher on there and configured it up. And all right. Alt Tab doing nothing. Escape doing nothing. Windows key, nothing. What about Control Alt Delete? Wait, at the bottom I saw saving. It said saving or something. Task Manager is not appearing. And I can't even Alt Tab to it. Okay. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to restart. And you're not going to have to wait for this whole restart. I'll just start it back to where I'm in Hyperspin. Okay, I restarted my PC and we're back at Atari Jaguar. I am not going to go back into that and try that again. Oh, if you're the alien, you can use your tail. That's cool. I don't want to risk another fucking freeze. So there's Lynx. I don't know what Astrocade is. WonderSwan Color. I mean, every system you can think of is on here. They say, yeah, there's like, I don't know, I think I already said it, but they say there's something like 70,000 or plus games. But I don't know how many of those are just, you know, because there are a lot of times there's multiple versions of the same game. There might be the American version, the Japanese version, the European version, the Australian version. You know, I don't know if they're counting all of those. They probably are. Commodore, Amiga, I mean, like, CD, TV. What the fuck is Megaduck? What the fuck is this thing? Some Game Boy knockoff. Doom. Okay, that's weird that Doom is randomly in here. Okay, so it looks like it's Doom mods, like levels people made. Like, I don't know. I think these big franchises like Doom, maybe put them in their own category. Like, I don't know. You know, something for really popular games. Like, what do you call that? Greatest hits or something. I don't know. Don't just have like these weird, shitty, you know, more obscure systems, and then all of a sudden we're at Doom. One thing to know though, I have edited this list a little bit. You can change the order of these. I put like arcade stuff closer up to the front because I care more about that stuff. But I don't think I've edited any of this shit because I don't care. Game & Watch, that's interesting. Alright, but MAME emulates a lot of Game & Watch now. So maybe they're running these through MAME. I don't know. I haven't tried any. Okay, let's try Donkey Kong. I've never tried any of this shit. That's cool that they have the actual game there for the fade screen. Click to open game. So this is not MAME, because MAME would not have you click to open the game. That's weird. I don't think they would. Game A. How am I going to control? I have to actually click. Wait, what? Okay, jump is working. Oh, okay, I can move. Alright, good. Alright. Oh god, this is going to be hard. Okay, so I'm moving. I don't think this is MAME. I don't know. Doesn't seem like MAME would have you using a mouse. So I don't know. But it worked. Okay. I don't know what most of this shit is. Channel F. I think this is the first system that had cartridges. The Fairchild Channel F. Vectrex. Let's try Vectrex. Spike. I watched a video of Spike. And that's cool, it has the overlay, but it's missing a bezel. So, I think most of these games on here usually don't have bezel artwork. Like for MAME, I added all my own bezel artwork. I don't know now if they're doing a better job of adding that now. Okay, this is working. Okay, so you can kick and you can jump. Okay. I don't know what shit. Darn it! I don't know what emulator is doing this. Doesn't look like vector graphics though. If you were using MAME, you could use HLSL to make the graphics look more like real vector graphics. Okay, well, we know it works. Alright, I'm just going to keep going down. I'm going to go through every single one. I never had Intellivision or Odyssey or any of this shit, so I don't really care. Never had any of these. PC Engine. I didn't have a TurboGrafx 16 or a PC Engine. Okay, let's just test this. China Warrior. I remember on the commercials this looked so cool because the sprites were so big. But when you actually play the game, it fucking sucks. Oh, okay, so they have a, here's what it is. So, if there's a bezel, it's usually a generic bezel for the overall system. That's what it is. So like TurboGrafx 16, I like per game bezels. That's what I want. Let's see. Okay, the controls are working. Yeah. Yeah. Back then it was cool to see a character that's like over the, but you're just punching, what am I punching, butterflies? A character that's so big, it's like almost bigger than half the size of the screen. Or maybe is. Let me just duck here. I guess this is Kung Fu, basically. Oh, but I can't face backwards. He can move backwards, but he can't turn around. Oh shit, how do you jump? You gotta press up? Yeah, this is Kung Fu. A shitty Kung Fu. Oh, okay, I can do a jump kick. Alright. So that works. Nintendo 64. This might, let's see if this works. It might not work. Let's go to, where's Mario 64? Mario Kart. I don't want Mario Kart. Probably have to go to, okay, you can see that's a pretty cool font. Maybe I have to go to Super Mario 64. So this might be mapped to a gamepad. We'll see. So it might not work with my control panel. Nintendo 64 emulators have always been a little flaky. Or not very reliable. Oh, come on. There was an error waiting for Project 64 to become active. Please check you have the correct version emulator installed. I haven't fucked with Project 64 or any Nintendo 64 stuff. So I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if that's an Extreme Home Arcade screw up or what. Let's try NES. What am I gonna play here? Okay, Mega Man 2, sure. And I don't have these marquees they're showing are just the wheel art. So there you go. There's a Nintendo bezel. Okay, start work. The controls are working so far. I didn't have an NES growing up, so if I ever played Mega Man, it was only at a friend's house. Okay, so alright. They just keep fucking dropping? Jesus. Ah, dead. All right. So this is I'm gonna hit start. This is what I meant when, like if this game was full screen, it would look stupid. It would be stretched. So you need to have it 4:3 and have the fucking bezel. Every console game that was meant to run on a TV should be that way. Okay, I'm hitting escape and it's not working. So what the fuck? How do you escape? I don't know what any of this shit means in the... what is all that? How do I get out of this? Huh. So... I've uncovered another problem I never... So, like, if I play every system, I'm probably gonna trying my exit button on my panel and the escape button on the keyboard, and I got nothing. So, Control-Alt-Delete. I don't know what's going on there. Where Nestopia is the emulator. It's tricky because your mouse usually doesn't work when you're in an emulator. All right. And can you stop moving around? Can you let me get in task? In task. There we go. All right. Well, I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm going to try Metroid, and we'll see if that has the same problem where I can't escape. I mean, extraction, you got to do an extraction for fucking Metroid. So yeah, this is taking too long for an NES game. Like a Sega Naomi game would load up faster, so this fade screen. Oh, there's an error. It's probably an error because of what we just had to do with Nestopia. Okay. So I'm just gonna exit everything. Maybe it's because, okay, so this is, okay, so look, you can see Super Mario 64. This is from when Project 64 opened. This dialog box. So Project 64 is here, still open. Maybe that's why? Maybe that's why Metroid 2 wasn't working? And that stayed up there because that always leaves up the last thing you had open. Alright, so I'm gonna try Metroid. Come on. Okay, now nothing's happening. Alright, let me try a different game. Mickey Mouse-capade? Sure. Nothing's happening. Escape. Do I have to restart the computer again? Nestopia is still running. Maybe that's why. Emulators are such a pain in the fucking ass. I don't recommend them. I recommend MAME. That's what I recommend. All these emulators are fucking all these other emulators are fucking shit. MAME for me is really stable, really reliable. The only thing that might happen is if you unplug your USB devices and shit often, you might end up losing your control setups. So you want to back those up. Or there are things you can do that will make your, even if you unplug devices, it'll make them stay the same device in Windows. There's an error. I don't know. I don't know. I fucking give up on NES then. Alright. Game Boy. Sure. Oh great, another Mega Man game. Okay, we got a Game Boy bezel. Okay, let's go. Alright. Well, the buttons work. I don't feel like waiting for the cinematic. Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, GameCube. We'll see how this goes. I never had a GameCube. I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I only had a Super Nintendo, and then the next system I got was a Wii. Then I got a Wii U, and now I have a Switch. Batman Begins? Sure. Now, oh shit. Because this is a CD, it's gonna take a while for it to load. It has to extract it from the archive file. I don't know if it's a zip or a 7-zip or whatever it is to save hard drive space. And I have an Extreme Home Arcades PC from 2016. You know, they're giving people better systems now, so maybe it would be faster. Maybe shit would work better. Maybe. I see the FPS up at the top right corner. If you go into the emulator, you can disable that FPS counter. The emulator should be Dolphin. Yeah, this is running slowly. I can hear stuttering. I'm not sure. Let's see if my buttons are working. I don't think they're doing anything yet. I don't know. So this is probably by default mapped to work with gamepads and not with the control panel. So they can fuck off with that. Alright. Super Nintendo. This is probably ZSNES. Star Fox. ZSNES, SNES, 9X, and BSNES are the main Super Nintendo emulators that I know of. So again, you have a Super Nintendo bezel instead of a Star Fox bezel. And I can tell this is using a filter to make the graphics less pixelated. That's a preference thing. You might prefer it to look the way it originally did. Okay, I think my panel's working. Yes, so you can see how smooth everything looks. That's a filter. Looks a little weird. Okay, so the controls work. But if you wanted to change that filter, you'd have to go into the emulator's settings. I prefer to do that outside of Hyperspin. I prefer to do it like just from within Windows. Virtual Boy. Let's see if Virtual Boy works. 3D Tetris. Virtual Bowling. Where the fuck is Wario? Isn't there a Wario game? Oh, I want to play Water World. There it is. There's an emulator out that works in VR for Virtual Boy. I need to try that. This is an awesome bezel right here. So I wouldn't even, you wouldn't even need game specific bezels. Automatic pause? Fuck you. Come on. Okay, so my controls are working. I don't know what. Okay, you press up to go in. Let me go. Alright. Okay, so he can jump and he can do a shoulder charge. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, that would look cool in 3D. So, some systems work fine, some are giant pains in the ass. Is Wii a giant pain in the ass? Of course, if you have your shit, you know, set up with game pads, maybe it wouldn't be a pain in the ass for you. Donkey Kong Country Returns. I like this game. I beat Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That was tough. And I beat like every secret level that you could unlock too. That took so many fucking lives. Alright, I don't have a wrist strap, so fuck you. Or I don't have a Wiimote. So like, I guess this probably is already indicating that my controls are not working. Yeah, you have to have a gamepad, I guess. The audio just there sounded bad. I don't know. Wii U. I tried this before and the controls were not matte. 3DO. Do you have plumbers don't wear ties? Plumbers don't wear ties. Oh shit. That's the problem with CD games. So down there they have a road rash animation. So some of these fade screens have animations, but like a lot of them, this one looks fine, but a lot of them like have a screwed up aspect ratio. So like some of them have Pac-Man, and Pac-Man will be all stretched vertically. And I think you might as well just get rid of it, or just fix the aspect ratio. You can fix that in Rocket Launcher in the fade settings. So there you go, real 3DO bezel. So yeah, Angry Video Game Nerd did a video on Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. This is one of the shittiest games of all time. Like what?
Keep me in suspense. Give me the full story.
Whoa, deja vu. I've seen this already. Where's the decision, please?
Don't keep me in
Don't keep me in the suspense. Give me the full story.
Alright, so the controls work. Yeah, this whole game is like a shitty ass PowerPoint presentation, basically. With, you know, it's like very softcore porn. There's no, I don't think there's any nudity, but oh my god. They have this blonde bimbo in like lingerie and stuff. Alright. I can't do all of that. Okay. Sega, I had Sega 32X. I had Sega CD, I had Dreamcast. Wait, why are there two Dreamcasts? Oh, Indies. Dreamcast Indies? Alright, Sega Game Gear, I had that. I had Genesis, I had Sega. I did not have Mark III. I think that's the Japanese version of the Master System. I had the Master System. I did not have the Nomad. I had the Saturn. So I was a Sega kid. Let's test Genesis. Nothing's appearing in the marquee for some reason. Has that been going on the whole time? Splatterhouse 2 is awesome. I had that. Maybe I gotta exit out. Maybe something happened with the fucking marquee. Okay, so there's a bezel. A system bezel. Okay, controls are working. So this looks pixelated like it would have looked originally. There's no filter going on. Now we're gonna batter up. Batter up. All right. I just heard some fucking shit in the background. All I did was hit escape. Okay, so it's working there? That's weird. Let's go back into hyperspin. Okay, now it's working. I don't know. Master System. Sure. Oh, this looks like the arcade game. That's weird. They made the Master System version look like the arcade game, and the Genesis version looked nothing like the arcade game. Yeah, that's just like the arcade game's, intro. That's pretty funny. Yeah, this is definitely the arcade game. Wow. And I'm already dead. Just like the arcade game. Alright. I don't know what else I should test. Neo Geo, this is just going to be MAME. Neo Geo Pocket. I don't know why there's a Sonic the Hedgehog category out of nowhere. This is... this should be... There should be like a mascot section if you're going to make them, totally about one character or something. Or throw this somewhere into the Genesis area. I don't know. Of course, that's not just Genesis, so I don't know. But it doesn't fit there. PlayStation. I've never tested PlayStation, so I don't even know how well this works. Tomb Raider. Sure. I had Tomb Raider on Saturn. Oh yeah, we got to extract it. So that's a good animation. That Crash Bandicoot animation. The aspect ratio looks good. Okay. When I press start, it's turning analog on and off. Okay. So this is probably only works with the gamepad. Push start's not working. I don't know. I just heard some Windows sound. Didn't like the buttons I was pressing. Alright, PS3. This is... I have a PS3. I feel like when you're getting into like PS3, that's when you're really getting into some piracy territory. I mean, all emulation basically is piracy unless you own the game. Well, yeah, there are definitely not many games here. Look at this. It's only I don't know, 5 or something games. Afterburner Climax. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you might as well just get a PlayStation 3. Oh, okay. Now we're looking at the emulator RPCS3. So to play the game, what do I have to double click it? Okay. That's stupid. Compiling PPU modules. Well, module 1 of 14. I'm not doing this, so let's cancel that and get out of this emulator. The exit isn't working. Okay, it says not responding. Okay. Hopefully we're all right. PSP, I never had any of that. Game.com. Let's see if Game.com works. I think Angry Video Game Nerd did this piece of shit too. Huh? Yep, it's by Tiger and it works. Oh shit. Cartridge. That's what we're doing. Batman and Robin. Oh. Guess this... Maybe this emulator doesn't work well? I don't know. Maybe it's just that game? Who knows? Console hacks. These are some like weird MAME things in here. Hack MAME. MAME Kids. Okay. I think I showed you. If you're in MAME, you can just go to genres and you could put all of these in under MAME as genres. They don't need to be their own individual things. New Retro Arcade Neon is an individual, that's a single PC game. That should be in a PC game category. Atlas, these are games by Atlas, is probably mostly MAME games. I don't know what Attack of the Clones is. Ultra 64. If you go into here, I think it's only Killer Instinct 1 and 2. That's pointless. Why make a category just for Killer Instinct 1 and 2, which are MAME games already? And they're also going to be under the fighting game categories. So then, like, here's trackball. Trackball should just be a genre under MAME, I think. If you go into here, it's going to be all MAME games. Yeah, these are all MAME games. So, and it's just random, like out of nowhere, or trackball, what? Okay, here's Ice Cold Beer. This is cool. This is one of my favorite arcade games. It's a mechanical game. I need to make a video. So like, okay, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 12. What? Out of nowhere. This needs to be in PC games or in a golf category. Here's another one. Infinite Mini Golf. Zombie Bowl-O-Rama. What? What is this shit? Haunted Museum. I don't know what this is. Needs to be in a category. Maybe these are Techno-Parrot games. They need to be in a Techno-Parrot category. This too. This is Techno-Parrot, I think. So is that. Polybius is a PC game. That needs to be in a PC category. Where's the theme? There's no theme for it. So that's a problem. I think all of these we're going through, most of these we're going through are PC games. I don't know what this Wild Guns Reloaded is. Run and guns. So I guess this is a category of run and gun games. And these are these look like these are PC games. Put these in a PC game category, I say. Another arcade emulator. I tried this once and it wasn't working for me. I don't know why. Atari Vault. I don't know. Then here's where they put Capcom PlayStation 1 games. This is all MAME games. Capcom PlayStation 2, I don't think these need their own categories. CPS 3, Cave, I'm not sure what. These are just like, okay, Cave games. These are all MAME games too. Death Smiles. Oh shit. This is, I thought this would be a category, but this is just like one game apparently. Is this gonna work? Is this gonna freeze everything? Okay, it's working. Okay, this is a Cave game. You could have put this in your little Cave category. Okay, the buttons are working. I'm gonna exit. How do I exit? I'm pressing, maybe I gotta press enter? Okay. Do I wanna exit? Yes. So I press Z. It worked. All right. Dice, I guess this is a Pong emulator? I don't know. Fatal Fury. All these games are in MAME. Fight. Final Burn. That's an emulator. Galeco. These are probably all in MAME. Oh, it's 2 games. Don't make a category for 2 games. Shoot 'em ups. That should be a genre, but I guess they think that people aren't going to be able to find where the games are if they put them in genres, so they make them these categories. Gun games. These are going to be mostly, I think, MAME games. Then there's another gun games. Okay, so that's his shotgun games on the shot. But then there's Area 51, and that's not a shotgun game. That's confusing. The top should say shotgun games if they're actually shotgun games. Jurassic Park is a shotgun game? Lethal Enforcers is a shotgun game? No. Or is it just like any game that has a shotgun in the game? Because these aren't shotgun games, so that's stupid. Alright. Racing games, Atari Classics, Capcom Classics, Data East Classics, Konami, Midway Classics. These are just main games. Sikyo, Raising, Sega Classics, SNK Classics, Taito, Tecmo, Williams, Visco, Teoplan, Banpresto. There's just I don't know what this is. This is probably a PC game. In my opinion, there's just so much crap. Slaps and Beans. What the fuck is Slaps and Beans? I have no idea. I don't know what Double Dragon Forever is. Rampage. This doesn't have a theme. It's probably a PC game. These need to be in categories. They need to not... We're on a main wheel right now. These should not be on the main wheel. I told the owner, Dave, this, and he disagreed. He said people like it this way. Well, I think those people are fucking stupid, and you should ignore them, and that you should categorize this stuff. I'm going to be honest. I think this is due to laziness. I think this is due to laziness on EHA's part to just dump all of these games in on the main wheel like this. That's what I think it is. So here's Samurai Showdown games. These are all MAME games. Unless they also put... Yeah, these are all MAME. So you could just go into MAME and find the Samurai Showdown games. Visual Pinball. Let's go into here. Let's test Black Knight 2000. I like Black Knight. Let's see if this works. I almost bought a Black Knight 2000. I went to the guy's house and he had it, and it was $4,500, and it wasn't working perfectly at the time. There was an issue with the left kickback. There we go. Alright. I don't know what the controls are. Okay. Trying to get it to the upper play field. There we go. I used to love visual pinball. I discovered it when I was in college. In the early 2000s. Fuck. Alright. So that worked. Oh, God. Okay, good. That worked. Future Pinball. I don't know if that's going to work. Pinball Arcade I tried once and that worked. Future Pinball, in my experience, Kadash. That must be somebody's... Yeah, these are like a lot of... These are tables people made that aren't based on real tables. I prefer real tables, so like Circus Voltaire. Future Pinball is a little less reliable, so we'll see. All right, it's working. Insert coin.
Get ready for the greatest pinball on earth.
Okay. Okay. Visual Pinball is better than this. Yeah, I do not like this. Yeah, if I was gonna play this game, I would just play play it on. I played on Pinball Arcade. All right, that worked.
Exit system.
Exit system. Okay. So Pinball FX. All right. So I didn't say this earlier, but like, there's all these PC games on this thing that are, you know, still being sold right now. So like, this is a major case of piracy here, because like, here's what's happening. They're putting these games on these drives and selling them to lots of people, and we're all getting the same copy of the game. So they're either getting these games from like GOG, which is like stands for Good Old Gaming, which doesn't have any DRM, or who knows how they're getting these games. I mean, I don't know if they're like pirated versions otherwise, who knows. But like, the developers aren't getting money for these games from all of these people that are getting these cabinets. We're paying all this money for the cabinet, and I guess that's how you would justify, you know, you're paying a bunch of money and then like you're getting all these games, but like, the developers, as far as I know, aren't getting any money. And these games are still being sold. There's a lot of PC games on here still being sold on Steam and etc. So it is piracy. And I don't play these games, as I've said before. Like, I have a Steam account with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. I just buy them if I want them, because Steam is so convenient. And I don't know. I just play arcade games on this cabinet. That's what I bought it for. I don't believe in all of this. I think, and also this is just like bloat. It's just a bunch of, all these PC games are a bunch of extra shit. So here's Neo Geo. Like, out of nowhere we have Neo Geo mixed in with pinball and shit. I don't know what's going on. Step Mania. Pump Pro. I don't know what the fuck. Frets on Fire. Okay, Rambo. This is a PC game by itself. Then they have Street Fighter category randomly. I guess it has every MAME Street Fighter game. Then there's Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 4 Super, piracy. All of this is piracy. Street Fighter X Tekken, Tekken 7, all the Mortal Kombat XL, Injustice Gods Among Us. So what, and like, people keep requesting more of these games. They want, like, hey, put on the latest Mortal Kombat game, put on the latest Killer Instinct, whatever it is. And what they're doing is they're just asking for free games. They want Dave, hey Dave, put more free games on the cabinet instead of paying for the games. So I think they should just buy the game. Now, if you want Dave to put on ROMs for emulators, that makes perfect sense, because getting ROMs is actually, like, you know, sometimes kind of hard, or you might not know which versions of the ROMs you need to get. Like for MAME, when the version of MAME changes, a lot of times the ROMs change. So like, the ROMs you have might not work with the latest version of MAME. So it can get kind of complicated. But these, you just go to Steam or wherever the hell is being sold and you fucking buy it. That's what you do. But if you're asking Dave to buy all these, to get all these, well, I don't know if Dave's buying them. I don't know how he's getting them. But you're asking him to put them on the build so that you can get games for free. I don't agree with that. Because the developers aren't getting anything for it, or they're not getting the amount that they should be getting. Pac-Man 256, I bought that for Steam. It's just tons of crap on here. So much crap, and these need to be, as I've said, I'm going to keep saying it, these need to be in their own categories. PC games mostly. Cuphead, I have this game. I played this. I did a video of this on my cabinet, and I played it off of Steam. I didn't play their version of it. This game took me forever to beat. So many fucking deaths. Duck Game. Somebody recently complained, got this cabinet, or got a brand new EHA cabinet, and said he tried to play Duck Game, and there's an error. So let's see what happens. And see, everything might be different. Everybody might have a different build of Windows 10. And like some people might have different updates on their machine than other people. I keep my machine hooked up to the internet, and that's against, EHA recommends that you do not do that. But I do it anyway because I download so much artwork and shit, and that's just easier for me. and I've disabled Windows Update the best I can, and so far everything's still working, I think, and Hyperspin still works. I don't know if any of these Windows updates that have occurred prior to me disabling them, if that could have fucked anything up. You know, like some of these games that weren't working right, could it have been because of Windows Update? That maybe. So this works, and my controls are working. Wait, are they? Okay, my joystick's working, but okay, there's jump. Okay, so if I had a gun, I could probably. Can I get to a gun? Play game. Okay, that worked. How do I get the fucking gun? There it is. Okay, yeah, now I can shoot. Alright, there we go. Alright. So it works. How do I get out? Escape? How do you get out of this fucking game? I'm hitting escape and nothing's happening. I'm hitting enter. There we go. Main menu. I had to press start, my start button. Okay, now if I go here, yeah, you can exit the game. All right. Overcooked, I have these. I played them with my wife. Ballistic tanks, I think I have that. I'm going through every single thing on here. Somebody recently requested Puyo Puyo for MAME. I never played it before. Mother Russia Bleeds. Somebody said this wasn't working, I think. Let me see. This is just a test for people watching this video. I think I own this game on Steam. Like when games go on sale, there's so many Steam sales. When they go on sale, I usually can't resist. It looks like it's working, but I don't know if the controls are going to work. Okay. My left and right isn't doing anything. So, Okay, well, I'm not sure what buttons are set up, but it seems like things are working. I don't know. Can I get out of here? How do I... I'm pressing left and right and down, and I can't get... Is there a mouse? Well, maybe this is supposed to be gamepad. I don't know. So the only button I can get to work is start. All right. Task manager time. Nestopia is still running? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Fuck Nestopia. Mother Russia Bleeds. End task. Alright. There we go. Alright. Don't starve. And you know, when this weird shit happens with these games, it could end up screwing up everything. You know, it could end up causing other games to not run well. I think this is a Techno Parrot game, so I don't know why this is by itself. Chase HQ2 I think is too. So these need to be in a Techno Parrot category. Half-Life 2, Survivor, Ninja Turtles. Okay. PC games, Terror Drum, PC games. Resident Evil 7. If you're going to play that for PSVR. That's how you need to play that. I did a video of Horizon Chase Turbo. So again, I'm going to keep saying it. The main wheel should be very limited where you can easily get to the category that you want. You know, it should be like arcade, console, you know, mods, settings, you know, it should not have tons of fucking things on it. Oh, you could have it split up console and arcade if you want them. Then you go into arcade and then you see, you know, like the MAME stuff, and then you have the Sega Naomi and the Sega M2 and et cetera, et cetera. You go to console, you see NES, you see all the Sega shit, you see all the, you know. You go to PC games. PC games is its own category, and that's where all of this nonsense is. And look at this, like out of nowhere, Zelda? What? So, and now we're going sideways for some reason. So you have the Wii Zelda games and Game Boy Advance, Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I don't know why some of these menus will go sideways. This is fucking weird. Why not have them in that same, you know, vertical hyperspin wheel thing? But yeah, why is Zelda randomly here? Why is Technos randomly here? There's like Tekken Collection. Now we're in like Super Mario. What is this? This is just a mix of Super Mario games. Like this needs to be, like I said before, maybe in a mascot category or just like put it in a Nintendo category or something. I don't know what Super Mario Brothers X is. I have no idea. Mega Man 11 PC game. ASMR. AM2. I don't know what that is. Look like Metroid. Final Fantasy, Metal Slug, Mortal Kombat, Mario Kart. This is karaoke, I guess. Unity games. Well, these would be a category within PC games. Creative Vision. What? There's a console now out of nowhere? Supervision, another console? Why? Action Max, that's a console. All the consoles should be in the same area. Now we're getting to like mobile games, I guess. Scum. These are point and click games, I guess. Leisure Suit Larry, PC fighting games. Okay. That's out of nowhere. PC games. Finally, there's a PC games category. And like, there's Virtua Cop, Assassin's Creed, Crazy Taxi. Okay, there isn't much in here. Because look, I keep seeing Crazy Taxi. They have all those fucking PC games on the main wheel. But look how few are in the actual PC games category. That pisses me off. There should be tons of fucking games in PC games. GOG. This is where a lot of these games came from. So what? Do you have a ton of... Well, now we have a sideways menu. Okay, there are way more games in here. These are also PC games. Oh no, maybe not. This isn't many games in here. Because it's just restarted. I don't know. The casino? Okay. And there's the casino, and then the next category is casino. That's stupid. Oh, and then slots. Slot machines. Oh, look. PC games. We're at PC games again. You can see why I'm pissed off. Okay. Like, there's the House of the Dead. That's probably the same House of the Dead I tried to play before. Let's test it. Let's see if it will act the same as that other House of the Dead. It was the one that was in its own House of the Dead category. It looks like it's the same. Yeah, I just heard a Windows sound and nothing. So I hit escape. Escape. Alright. Flash games, Cartoon Network games, digital magazines. So you could look at Nintendo Power and shit. I mean, that's pretty cool. But who's gonna stand here at their arcade panel and do this? So you press left and right to scroll through the magazines. I don't know, if I press down, it's doing it too. Okay, so that's cool. I don't have any complaints about it. Angry Video Game Nerd, that's PC game. Arcade Music Trivia Challenger, Vintage Game Commercials. I think I said that when I first turned this thing on, the first thing I saw was some really pixelated commercial. And I was like, what? Why am I looking at this?
Hey kids, power up your score on Super Mario Brothers and
So let's go to this Nintendo commercial. So like the first thing I saw was this, like something of this quality.
Hey kids, power up
And
your
I was
score
like,
on Super Mario Brothers
what
and
are they-
Super Mario Brothers
What are they trying to sell me something? What the fuck's going on here? When I turn this machine on, I don't want to see these stupid videos. If I want to see these videos, let me just go to the wheel and look at them. Don't make this the default where we have to see these videos. But you can, as I said, you can disable this so that these don't play when the machine starts up. This is some ad for the Nintendo hotline, I guess. RoboCop, Sega Genesis Blast, as Super Famicom Mario, Sonic Mania, Sonic Adventure, blah 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 blah. So it looks like there's a lot of commercials in here. All right. Simply 80s. So this is an arcade cabinet, but look how A1 steak burgers. So this is like a, if you want to see this shit, you can see this on YouTube probably. And it's so pixelated. It's not even worth having it. Like people are gonna sit here and watch Benson on their arcade cabinet. Like, what? This is a Moose commercial. What? Hank Aaron? Apple Jacks? Okay. Maybe have a category where you throw all this stuff into one, maybe? Or just omit it completely. The Simpsons. I mean, this is crazy. This is a waste of hard drive space. I don't know if they have every Simpsons episode here, but who's going to sit here and watch The Simpsons on this thing? And then movies. Oh, we were talking about piracy earlier. They have a bunch of old stuff in here. I mean, yeah, this is all piracy. They also have newer stuff in here. They'll probably keep adding new stuff. Like even newer, like I saw some pretty new movies in here, like Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Rogue One. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with this stuff if I were Extreme Home Arcades. I would not include this stuff. I would not risk it. Like nobody is buying this Rocky 5. Nobody's buying this for the movies that are on it. Okay. Jukebox. I guess they have MP3s in here. Video tutorial. So you could go here and watch videos on how to do stuff. But this is another one of these sideways things, and look what it does. Well, the video is cutting off the text, but it said Fun Games 2. Light gun setup, and it gets cut off. MAME arcade, MAME arcade, MAME arcade. Mapping comb. N64 setup, I don't know. NES setup, something. PlayStation 1, like they're getting cut off. So if they made them a regular wheel instead of this sideways shit, I think you would see all the text. You can see all the text down here though. Dreamcast setup with wireless controllers. but I would prefer to see it in the actual wheel. That way I can see more. You wouldn't have to stop one by one on these things. Customer requests. So people are like, hey Dave, can you add 1980X? This game is pretty new, and I did a video of it. I bought it and I played it on my cabinet. Hey Dave, can you add 1980X to the cabinet? Okay, and then they add it. And then that person doesn't have to buy it, and then the developer doesn't get money for it. I don't believe in that. Hey Dave, can you add A Hat in Time? Hey Dave, can you add Afterburner Climax? So this Afterburner Climax is a Techno-Parrot game, as long as it's not the PS3 version. This is a Techno-Parrot arcade game. So if you're adding an arcade game, I have no issue with that, because what's your alternative? You're going to buy the arcade cabinet that costs, $5,000 or more dollars. That's not really an option, and it's going to take up a ton of space. So I have no issue with that. But like, this is probably a PC game, Alone in the Dark. You can buy that. You don't need Dave to add it to the cabinet. I don't know, Bloodstain, that's a PC game. You can get that on Steam. You don't need to ask Broforce, that's a PC game. You don't need to ask Dave to add it. You could buy it and you could add it yourself. Dave isn't Santa Claus, in my opinion. I think these cabinets should just be emulator cabinets. I don't think there should be any PC games on them. But they're adding the PC games to try to, I guess to attract more buyers. To be like, we have 70,000 games. Ghosts and Demons. I don't know what this is. If this is a mod of something? I don't know. Justice League, Heroes United. I don't know. I don't know more. My friend Pedro. This was on Steam. This is pretty new. Resident Evil 6. Trine 4. Alright. But see, people request these games and then they add them to this customer request wheel. Well, what if I had gone into PC games or gone to the Techno-Parrot or something trying to find these games and then they're not there, but they're here in customer request? Well, that's annoying. So I don't think there should be a customer's request folder. I think they should go where they belong. If it's a PC game, it should go into PC games. If it's a Techno-Parrot game, put it there. Get rid of customer requests. Here's search. I did it. I was trying to use this earlier, and you could see that it was a pain in the ass. When you use it, you have to type. You have to be careful about how you type it, and then you can't hit enter. You have to go down to search, the search button in the interface. Let me see what happens if I type in Street. Yeah, and if you didn't have a key, I'm using a keyboard. If you didn't have a keyboard, you'd have to use your joystick, and I guess I don't know what you would press. I don't know what you would press to actually choose. Maybe start. Yeah, the start button did it. So for Street Fighter 2, would I do that? I don't know. We'll see. Search. No results. Okay, and how do I... Okay, I hit escape. Now we're going to go back in here. Let me type Street Fighter. And I'm going to do like that. Is that going to give me results? There we go. So now you got a bunch of Street Fighter 2s. So you got to type it in a certain way. And then you're going to have tons of different versions. You're going to have to figure out what's the right one that you want to... Okay, look, I think the marquee went away for a little while, but now it's back. I don't know what happened. So I'm hitting escape. Now we're at system. This gives you utilities where you can adjust things, like you can adjust screen resolution, screen size. This is automatic factory drive registration. So like sometimes your version of Windows will complain that it's not a genuine version of Windows, which is a little sketchy. You do this and it fixes that. I asked Dave, and he said these are volume licensed Windows copies. So I guess he bought. We're all getting the same copy of Windows under a volume license. I'm not sure why this has to get done though. Calibrate analog joysticks. Change iPack defaults. There's all sorts of like utilities. Here's like set up Dreamcast emulator, set up GameCube emulator. So if you don't know where to go to change your controls, they have these here. I guess this is a specific game. Television, Nintendo 64, Naomi, NES, PlayStation, PS2, Sega Genesis, Model 3. So I'll hit start on this, and it brought up the emulator. The emulator is supermodel. Do I have a mouse? Okay, so there's my mouse. So I could go into here, and I could configure selected title, and then I could go into here and change whatever I want to change. I don't see the controls here though. You have to go to Tools and Options. You go to Tools and Options. Now you have a keyboard. And see, this stuff is going to be kind of complicated for people that aren't used to emulators. So that's just the territory with emulators. You got to learn how they work. It's not going to be plug and play. You're going to have to figure these things out. You're going to have problems. You're going to have issues. It's just going to happen no matter what. So this is factory drive registration. I don't know what the difference is between that and that other thing. So, light gun setup. You're going to need to go in there and get your gun calibrated, or you can just do it straight from the AimTrak utility from Windows. I prefer to do everything from within Windows. Here, you can restart the system in arcade mode so that it's only showing arcade games. I tried it though, and it wasn't showing only arcade games. It was also showing like a bunch of other shit that I didn't want to see. I didn't try the console one. It just shows consoles. This one will just show light gun. This is all systems, which is the mode it's in now. Party mode. I don't know what party mode does. Just pinball mode, only show pinball. Restore factory settings. I would be scared to ever touch that. Set up game-specific settings. Oh, that would open Rocket Launcher. I got to make a video where I talk about Rocket Launcher and how to do bezels and all of that. It's too much for me to get into. Stop hyperspin. There's just a bunch of crap in here. It gets complicated. So I've gone all the way through the wheel back to Arcade Classics. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down on the joystick, and we're going to cycle through every single thing in the wheel and come back around. And you're going to see how long it takes because of how much crap there is on this fucking wheel. This main wheel is a dump, in my opinion. It just has, and when I had I put a guy on the Extreme Home Arcade Owners Unite forum on Facebook, put a bunch of higher res marquees, wheel images, and then they're higher res marquees because he has a marquee too. And I tried them, but then it made this wheel move so much slower because the higher res images, and it's just more to process for the CPU or the GPU. So I reverted back to the lower res stuff so it could move faster. All right, now we're back at Arcade Classics. So that's how much crap is on the main wheel. So I think it needs to be way cleaner. Just be like system, arcade, console, PC games. I don't know what other categories you would need. Then if you wanted, you could have like mascots or classics, and then classics maybe is where you would put Sonic and Mario and Zelda and like Doom and shit like that. I don't know. Maybe that's where you put your Golden Tee Golf. And then when you go into arcade, that's where it would be split up by like MAME and Sega Naomi and all that other shit. And within there, if you wanted to go to specific manufacturers, there could be a wheel just for like that. Go to manufacturers, and then in there you can see Irem and Capcom and Konami and Neo Geo or SNK. And And then when you go to the console ones, it would be any Nintendo, Sega, NEC, or I don't know. You could do it that way, the manufacturer, and then within there you have the systems. Maybe that would be, and then within you go to Nintendo. Then within Nintendo you get the Nintendo 64 and then the SNES and then the NES. You go to Sega, and once you go into the Sega wheel, you get all of the Sega systems. Something like that. I don't know. I just like organization, and this is way too unorganized for me. So if they don't fix it or somebody else doesn't fix it, I'm gonna just have to go in here and reorganize this thing myself, or just get rid of all that other shit I don't care about. Just totally get rid of it. I don't know. I did that on my Windows 7 build. I reduced it down to like very little, and that made me happier. I didn't even go, so then it worked better because everything I had, I knew it worked. I didn't go through these things like I've done in this video and then find out, oh, this shit doesn't even work. So, all right, I think that's it for showing the software. Yeah, I mean, maybe the next part of this video is the outro. Alright, I set hyperspin to a track mode. You can do that and it'll just randomly spin through different games. And so I'm going to just give my final thoughts. My final thoughts are, do I regret buying this? No, not at all. I'm glad I bought it even at the crazy price I paid for the cabinet and the marquee, and even having to pay Vitrolite extra money to get another one. Because, I've gotten so much gameplay out of it, and I'll get years more, hopefully. And the thing is, if you're not good with Windows, if you're not like a troubleshooting type of person, if you're not willing to like do some research and watch some tutorial videos, I don't think I would recommend this for you. And that goes for all emulation. I would say don't even bother, just get a console. Just stick with console, something simple. PCs are complicated and you're gonna have problems. Emulators always have problems. Emulators are a huge pain in the fucking ass. Trust me, I've been using them since 1998 and they still piss me off. They still baffle me. And I still have to get on the internet and forums and figure shit out. So like if you're gonna wanna do the kind of things I've done and customize this thing, yeah, you're gonna get yourself into a lot of trouble probably if you don't know what you're doing with Windows and you haven't researched stuff. So yeah, you don't have to have a lot of experience with emulators, but it helps a lot. So you probably saw some of the games weren't working. When they're PC games, they're not working. I don't know what to tell you. When they're emulators and shit doesn't work right, I kind of expect it. Like if, most of the stuff will work, but then some games just won't work. It's just like, all right, well, that's just some shit you got to research and figure out. And it could just come down to something as simple as like your configuration has something slightly different than somebody else's computer, even somebody else who has an Extreme Home Arcade. It could be that you have a Windows update that other people don't have, and that update fucks something up. There's so many variables that it's really hard to tell. So there's the emulators, but then there's also Hyperspin, but then there's also Rocket Launcher, and like there's so many variables there of shit that can go wrong. I don't know. If you expect it to be plug and play and everything just work great, you're going to be disappointed. Because it's not. But there is a team of guys from Extreme Home Arcade Owners Unite, that Facebook group. They're working on something called the Manhattan Project, where they're creating a improved version of the drive with more games and hopefully, more games that work properly, that load up right, and everything's smooth. So that's the goal. And they're also, so this is using Hyperspin for the front end. I heard they're also going to use like Big Box. Big Box is a competing front end that's more like gets more support. Like Hyperspin is just kind of dead. It's been years, I think, that it's just sat not getting any updates. But Big Box is a paid front end that, is continually getting updates. And I've never tried it, but it might be the better way to go. But they're going to have Hyperspin and Big Box on it, so you can choose which one you want to use. And, they're going to add more games. Like, there's all sorts of, like, Techno Parrot games, which is, more recent, more modern arcade games, like, based on PC hardware that have come out and stuff like that. So, yeah, you're probably gonna, until that, I don't know when that's gonna come out. I mean, you're gonna have problems. Expect problems. You can go on forums, you can go on the Extreme Home Arcade Owners Unite and ask questions. Dave, the owner of Extreme Home Arcades, you can email him and he'll respond to you. He's very responsive. He doesn't always have the solution, but he'll try to help you. So, this thing has problems. But one thing I wanted to say is, guess what? This over here, Monster Bash here, this is, basically brand new. It's a Monster Bash Remake LE. This thing has problems. So the glass is open right now because I've been trying to fix this fucking thing. This plasma disc here, this is an LE feature and it doesn't work. And I've been talking to support trying to figure it out. They sent me a new one, a new plasma disc. Guess what? It doesn't work. So, been trying to figure that out. Then Champion Pub over here, another commercial quality arcade game. This thing has had multiple issues where like poppers stopped working and, I had to make adjustments. So let's see. Off-road. This thing's CRT went bad. But, I mean, this game's so old you would expect a CRT to go bad. I've also had issues with the steering wheels. Vindicators here. This I got, like completely, like, worked on by TNT Amusements, like worked on, to the best of their abilities to make it like, as high end as they could. It came here and it had sound issues. Stun Runners. This thing, I haven't had it long enough to have issues, but I'm sure it will have issues. And then I'll say that when that happens. So anyway, so even with these arcade games that are meant to be commercial machines and abused the hell out of, they have problems too. So I just expect problems. And I'm in IT, so I definitely expect problems with Windows. A lot of this comes down to Windows, issues with Windows. Windows has problems with like USB devices getting reassigned. You'll have that problem where your controls don't work anymore and you're going to have to reassign them. That can happen. There's ways around that to fix that, but like, controls are always going to be an issue with emulators. Maybe even with the PC games they have on here. As I've said, I don't care about the PC games or even the console games. I care about the arcade games. So I don't delve into all that shit so much. So I haven't tested all of that stuff, So I think that's it. I probably haven't covered everything I wanted to cover. If you have questions, put them in the comments and I'll answer any question you ask. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.